going on, guys? Jay, that drain guy. So today we have a few different drain machines for the contractor, plumber, or even the homeowner that we're gonna kind of do a little review on, some pros and cons to each one. So to start off, we got the K45. This is the, I believe it's the predecessor, I believe that's the right word, from the Ridgid K39. So starting out the K45, cost-wise, here in Canada, they go about $550. There is a more expensive version, and that's the same as all of these, that can auto feed and auto retract, right? So, but starting out, this simple machine without the auto feed is $550 Canadian, right? That's about $400 US right now. This is made by Ridgid. So some pros about it. It's electric, right? Plug-in power, constant power, that's a pro, right? Another pro would be the auto feed version, right? You don't gotta work so hard to put the cable in and pull it out. Another thing is it has a quick locking drum, right? Pull it back, it locks, pull it out, and it unlocks. It's good if you are spinning and you need to work that area, you can just constantly, but also lock it, spin it, right? Unlock it, feed it in a bit, lock it, spin it, right? This drum capacity can hold up to a 50-foot cable. That's a 5/16 cable. It will also hold a 35-foot 3/8 cable, okay? 3/8, a little bit bigger than the 5/16, okay? Both machines, as well as the auto feeds, can run inner core cables or hollow core cables. The inner core cable, all depending on what you get, if you get a inner core cable from Ridgid, they have a wire on the interior of the cable itself, keeps it more rigid, right? The hollow core is a lot more flexible. Another pro, the drum is plastic, okay? Won't rust out. Some cons about these machines. If you lose power in the unit or place you're working, you can't run it anymore, obviously. Another con for these machines, this has a seal on the inside, but over time that seal will wear out and you will get overspray. You'll get overspray from the screw holes as well. So when you're spinning that drum, and this drum has water in it from the cables over time, right? It builds up. You can actually get a overspray, and that's not looking good on you as a contractor or plumber. If you're a homeowner, you're doing it to your own sinks and bathtubs and stuff like that, that's your decision to go with whatever machine you want to use. All right, so this is the K39, basically the exact same thing as the K45, except the cords, these plugs, the K45 has a GFCI plug where the other one does not. Other than that, they're basically the same. You can run different cables, as in drop heads, right? Those are good for back-to-back kitchen sinks and drains that go to a T. Sometimes if you don't get it to drop down, you can go up the vent. Now we're gonna move on to the Super V from General Pipe Tools. The cost of this new today is $575 Canadian or $419 American. Pro, very similar to the Ridgids, okay? The barrel can lock and unlock very easily. Another pro for this machine is you can buy a stand for it off the General Pipe Tools website. And that stand will hold it in place when you're snaking, so you're not having to hold it up well try to run the machine, and you're also not scraping it on the floor or the base of the cupboard when you're trying to hold it. With the general pipe tools, you can buy general cables, and they actually have attachment head cutters that you can use for those, for different kinds of blockages. Again, this is electric power, so you got power and it's constant power when you have it. Same thing as the Ridgid, you can run hollow core or inner core cables. Same thing like Ridgid, these will hold a 50-foot 5/16 cable as well as a 35 3/8 cable. A con about this, you get the overspray. Same thing like the Ridgid. If you lose power, the power's done, you have to run the extension cords or get a generator set up. Same thing with these machines that I forgot to mention. You're gonna wanna use a good leather glove that won't grab the cable. The cable will grab onto your gloves, so you wanna have a good leather glove. You can use a rubber glove, but you wanna make sure it is somewhat, I wanna say lubricated. I like to use a little bit of dish soap will work fine, then it won't grab it. If it's a dry glove, the cable may grab onto it. This one here, the Milwaukee. This is the Milwaukee M12, all right? It is a 12 volt, runs off 12 volt batteries, right? They do have smaller batteries as well. This is the XC 4.0 lithium, okay? I bought this thinking I wasn't gonna have overspray. It, like the other machines, does have a locking drum. It is lightweight. That is also a pro. These machines, you can run a 5/16 cable, roughly about a 25-foot cable. It's, if you get into the bigger cables or the longer cables, it's gonna be a little tight. This machine, $410 Canadian, and that's for the kit. I believe you get a battery charger, a battery, the machine, and it even came with a bucket. The drum is partially covered. You can actually sit this down on its side or on the top while you're running the machine. It also has this stand that you can sit it down. That's a good thing when you're under a cupboard or something like that. You won't need to buy a stand for it. I sometimes will sit this right in my bucket and run the machine that way. Cons, you do get overspray. I was thinking you wouldn't have when I first saw the machine. You do get overspray. Another con, the batteries can run out. If you got no more batteries or they're not charged up, you can't run your machine. And the last con that I really found about this, I don't know if you guys can see, I actually have the end of this electrical taped, because when you lock the machine, you're fine, but when every time I was pulling it out to unlock it, this end comes off. Not the whole barrel or the locking, but just right at the end. I don't know why they did that, maybe to make it easier to disassemble everything, I don't know. But they should have made it a better lock on there, because every time it would just pop off. I electric taped it up and we're usually fine. I never have any issues with that. With this machine here, I do use this for under kitchen sinks. That way, when you do got overspray, it's situated to under the cupboard. You can give it a little clean, as if you were in a bathtub, or if you were in a bathroom trying to snake a bathtub, you got overspray everywhere. Then we have the M18 version, okay? A little bit heavier. This runs the M18 red lithium. This is the XC 5.0 battery. It does have a stand. This machine is securely waterproof. And what I mean by that is the drum inside is completely sealed up, no overspray. I like this machine for that. This is the only one I've seen so far that does not have overspray. The only overspray you're gonna have is from the cable. That is it. The cost of this in the kit was $585 Canadian, and about $426 American. The kit came with a carrying case. It's about 2.5 feet deep, I guess you could call it. It's in the van, I didn't bring it in. All the water that gets in the drum when it sits like this in the drum. So any water that gets in the barrel will drain out. This has a locking, you can lock the cable again. This is the auto feed actually. This is the auto feed of this version. So turn it to the right, it well, you gotta pull it out and then turn it, it locks the cable, it will auto feed and retract by itself. You can run a 50-foot cable in this machine, no problem. Again, like I said, you can sit it on the floor without, or the bathtub or your leg. You won't have to worry about the barrel spinning and hitting your leg. The cons about this, there's always cons, right? The batteries can die, right? If you're gonna run a machine like this, you want to have lots of batteries. I think I got 5 or 6 of the 5.0s. I got 5 or 6 of the 4.0s. I even got a 6.0 for the M12. It is a little bit bulky, right? It's a little bit bulkier, a little bit heavier, okay? Another downfall I found twice already. If you have it in the case in the middle of summer, right? Keep it in your van. If the case is closed, the lid is closed, okay? You're gonna build up condensation from the water inside. Condensation will get all over the electrical mechanism, the trigger and whatnot, right? Ruin the trigger. It'll just stop working. If you're gonna buy one of these, keep the lid open in your van at all times. Winter, summer, whatever, okay? Because you don't want that condensation to build up. Couple little honorable mentions. We have the flex shaft. This is the 102. This is for kitchen sinks and stuff like that, right? Canadian, $1,600, okay? American, about $1,166. Pros, you can get multiple heads to put on here. You can get chain knockers, you can get cutters, you can get all that, right? You hook up your drill right here, run it by your drill, and then you feed it in. When you run the drill, the cable turns, but the exterior sleeve does not, okay? You don't need leather gloves. This has a 50-foot cable length in it. As long as you got battery powered or electrical powered, you can run this. It's a 1/4-inch cable. You can even run this with nitro gloves. I like to use the Grease Monkey. I do prefer the 5 mil because they're basically a one-time use, right? You're good to go. If you want to keep them longer, you go for the 8 mil. They're the yellow box, right? This is not a sponsored video. Sure would be good if it was though. Just saying. No, but seriously. You can use any rubber gloves, you can use leather gloves, doesn't matter. Some cons. Really, it's the cost. You need a drill, right? And other than it being expensive, it's a good machine. You want to run it on low, right? Because there's something inside that can actually snap the parts inside, but you can change those out yourself. I don't know if you're really supposed to. Honestly, I'm not a huge fan of this just because I'm old school. I like the drill machines. Another honorable mention. This is more for homeowners or rentals, right? So this is the Ridgid quick spin drain cleaner, okay? Does have, so basically you spin it, that will spin the cable, okay? So you can spin it, you can feed it out. So I believe the trigger will let you feed it or lock it, okay? It's not an auto feed, okay? The cost of this, $70 Canadian. I don't know what that is American. I didn't look it up. Probably 50 bucks, 60 bucks. It's cheap for a homeowner. If you don't want to spend the money for these, right? You're good to go. And you can actually buy another machine like that that can hook up to your drill, so you get a more powerful turn on it. It's gonna cost you more money. I didn't see it. I've never used these, just so you know. You shouldn't really use them in anything larger than 1.5 inch piping. All right? So I wanna thank you guys for watching. This has been Jay That Drain Guy. Hopefully you guys got some knowledge about the drill snakes that are out there, and hopefully this can help somebody in the future. Thanks for watching. This has been Jay That Drain Guy signing out. Trogna.